What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Harrison, and today we're talking about $70 video games and the ever-changing prices of video games in the industry. This recently came up from the interview that Doug Bowser did, CEO of Nintendo of America, did with AP News. So this is what Bowser has to say. "We look at what the game has to offer," Bowser told AP News in a recent interview. "I think fans will find this is an incredibly full, deeply immersive experience," talking about Tears of the Kingdom. "The price point reflects the type of experience that fans can expect when it comes to playing this particular game. This isn't a price point that we'll necessarily have on all of our titles. It's actually a fairly common pricing model either here or in Europe or other parts of the world, where the pricing may vary depending on the game itself." And honestly, he's absolutely true in that statement. There's never really been a standard. There's never been a law in place for the standard of pricing for video games. Everyone just kind of at the turn of the Xbox 360 and the PS3 era, everyone turned to $60 games, and it's pretty much been the same for, I don't know, 15, 16 years now, which is great. I think a solid price point for AAA games and other games. I think it's good to have that kind of collective agreement. Now, there's obviously so many other variations of pricing models. I mean, we've got everything from indie games that can go from literally 99 cents all the way up to like $30. That's kind of like the indie price point. And then, the 40 to 50 nowadays is kind of considered more of like maybe the AA titles or the budget title games that aren't quite valued at the $60. And again, all this, the pricing of anything is always subjective. Someone may find the price, a $70 video game just fine, right? That they can afford it. It's all based on how much you can afford, how much you're willing to spend for a video game. Personally, for me, I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to be worth it. I think Tears of the Kingdom is probably going to be one of the first, don't come at me, one of the first $70 video games that's probably going to justify that price point, because we know this game is going to be huge. It's going to have so much replayability. It's going to have so much to do in the world. Coming from a game like Elden Ring that was $60, I personally think that game could have gotten away with $70, but they priced it at 60, which, hey, I will take the lower price. I'm never going to complain about a game being lower price. I'm never going to argue that, hey, I think this should be 70. I'm never going to argue that. But that being said, I think there, and hopefully third party and first party studios look at what Nintendo's doing, case by case scenario, look at the past sales of these other $70 games, how they compare to $60 games, what those metrics are, and maybe make that decision going forward. So again, to me, I think Zelda's going to be worth $70. I was already planning on getting the collector's edition, assuming I can get one for $130. So I was already going to pay more than $60 to begin with, more than $70. So that's just my own opinion on that matter. Now, going back to the turn of the current gen hardware, Sony went all in. PlayStation went all in. They said that their games going forward were going to be $70, which I've made a video about that, how I didn't agree with that back then, and I still don't necessarily agree with it, because we truly have not seen, in my opinion, a current gen game. All of the games up until this point for PlayStation have been cross-gen, right? Returnal was for current gen. I could argue that that's probably not worth $70. I think that should be more of like a 60 and below game. But again, subjective, my own opinion. Someone may disagree with me and think that it's absolutely worth 70. Ratchet and Clank, another one of those games that was exclusive to the PS5. But again, $70 worth it? I don't know. I haven't played it. I currently do not own a PS5. So again, this is all my opinion, and it's subjective and stuff like that. So going back to something like maybe, let's say, Battlefield. Battlefield was $70. Multiplayer only $70 game? That seems a little bit greedy to me. Another game like Forspoken that just recently came out. A pretty large game, huge budget. I think if I read the article correctly, their budget was like $100 million for that game. So maybe they had to price it at 70. Maybe if they priced it at 60, it would have sold better, based off of the reviews that it had gotten. Maybe it would have sold a little bit better. Maybe people just didn't like the fact that it was $70. You go look at something like Dead Space. I thought Dead Space was an incredible remaster, one of the best to ever do it at this point. I think Resident Evil could have a chance. Resident Evil 4 could have a chance of beating it. But again, subjective. The game's not super long. I did beat it a couple times, so I got my money's worth. I also split the cost with my brother because we have game sharing on Xbox, so you could do that. So we paid $35 a piece. So again, I'm not paying full price necessarily, but I've made those moves on Xbox, so I don't have to do so. Plus Game Pass obviously is heavily involved with my purchasing decisions ever since I got the since I was enrolled in that service. But PlayStation doesn't have an option like that. So again, everything is subjective with pricing. The pricing has been all over the board across video games. We're kind of lucky that it's been 60 for so long, as companies are trying to test the waters for their pricing. Who knows? Next year, maybe Ubisoft won't charge $70 for Skull and Bones, assuming that game comes out. Maybe going forward, they'll say, hey, $70 is not our price point. We need to roll that to 60 because we just sell more copies that way. I think we're going to see those numbers, those metrics here in a couple of years. But I think $70 is here to stay. I think it's too enticing for companies not to charge 70. Again, I know I've said subjective a lot, but it truly is. With all the pricing of all the video games, at the end of the day, it's your decision to pay for them. Games go on sale so quickly nowadays. I mean, Dead Space is already on sale. Forspoken's already on sale. So if you wait a couple months, you don't have to pay 70. But I've just seen a lot of complaints on Twitter and other places about Zelda in particular, and maybe because this is a $70 game that's coming out on a outdated platform. Maybe people will be a little bit more proactive for the price increase if we got a Switch 2 or something, another iteration of the Switch or something like that with more power. So I get that, and I definitely, those opinions are definitely validated. But I just think, in my opinion, Zelda's going to be worth it. And Nintendo's already stated that they're going to do it on a case-by-case scenario. So I absolutely do not think that something like Pikmin is going to be $70. I don't really see a lot of $70 games coming out of Nintendo. They've always been a pretty budget-friendly company as far as their pricing goes, especially with their consoles. Now their games hardly ever go on sale, so I guess you could counteract that point. But I just don't think we're going to see a lot of $70 games. I think Mario will probably be a $70 game, the next 3D Mario game. And beyond that, I don't know. Maybe the next Mario Kart, maybe the next Smash Brothers. Their high tier AAA games will be 70, and everything else will be 60 and below. And I think other companies should look at that too. They should look at the value of their game, what their game offers. Does it offer a ton of replayability? Are there microtransactions involved? Is there a battle pass? All those options can be taken into a consideration before charging 70. So hopefully they do that. They probably won't. They'll probably just charge the 70 and keep it rolling, but we'll see. I know I've talked a lot. This is a kind of a longer video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a like. I got some more videos coming out later on this week. This was my second time making this specific video. I had some audio issues in the last one, but I think this video turned out a little bit better as far as my points go with $70 games. So again, subscribe to the channel if you can. We're on the road to 300 subscribers. Hopefully we get to 500 by the middle of this year. I think we can definitely do it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. Give it a click, and I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.